Kainatı keşfetme arzusuyla uzaya insan ve uydu gönderme gibi faaliyetler şüphesiz 21. yüzyılın temel konuları arasında. Bu nedenle geçtiğimiz 40 sene boyunca 20 Avrupa ülkesi Avrupa'yı uzay bilimleri, uzay teknolojileri ve uygulamaları konusunda ön saflara taşımak için yoğun bir çaba gösterdi. Ve 1975'te kurulan Avrupa Uzay Ajansı'nın sahip olduğu misyon, uzay araştırmalarına yapılan yatırımların Avrupa ve tüm dünya vatandaşlarına yararlı sonuçlarla geri dönmesini sağlamaktır. Bu bağlamda Avrupa Uzay Ajansı uzun yıllardır dünyayı gözlemlemek, hava ve deniz trafiğini kontrol etmek, telekomünikasyonu sağlamak ve astronomik çalışmalara katkıda bulunmak için uydular geliştirip yörüngeye yerleştiriyor. Ve Güneş sisteminin uzak sınırlarına insansız uzay araçları göndererek insanoğlunun uzayı keşif yolculuğuna önemli katkılarda bulunuyor. Ajansın başlıca programlarından biri Avrupa Komisyonu tarafından yönetilen ve dünyanın en büyük yerküre gözlem programı olan Kopernik'tir. Başka bir şekilde ifade etmek gerekirse Kopernik Avrupa'nın dünyayı izleyen gözüdür. Gezegeni çevreleyen uydulardan, yer ve hava istasyonlarından toplanan veriler yerkürenin sağlığına dair kapsamlı bir bakış geliştirmesini sağlıyor.
We live in a world characterized by overwhelming environmental challenges. We must try to tackle the effects of global warming. The problems created by both overpopulation and overconsumption, and the depletion of natural resources. How can we best manage our consumption and utilization of our Earth's natural resources and protect our environment? To answer this and other related questions, we constantly need to be aware of the state and health of our planet. The Copernicus program helps us to achieve this by observing our environment, collecting, storing and analyzing data, and providing products to enable effective decisions to be made. Brought together by different stakeholders in the European Union, Copernicus monitors our planet and its many ecosystems, while ensuring that its inhabitants are prepared for and protected against crises and natural or man-made disasters. Copernicus information services are based on data from a constellation of 6 families of satellites, known as the Sentinels, and dozens of third-party satellites known as contributing space missions. These measuring devices in orbit sometimes operate alone, and sometimes combined with sensors placed on the seas, land, or in the air. Copernicus then stores the data and helps to provide a large amount of reliable and up-to-date information on the status of our planet. This data can be used to create different kinds of products, such as statistics and topographic maps. The data is analysed in a way that generates indicators useful for researchers and end users, providing information on past, present and future trends. Copernicus contributes not only to European scientific and technical excellence, but is part of a public service framework, allowing full, free and open access to all data collected. Anyone, scientists, policymakers, entrepreneurs, and ordinary citizens can use this data. Its missions also include essential interrelated themes, incorporating 6 sets of services: atmosphere monitoring, marine environment monitoring, land monitoring, climate change, emergency management, and security, that translate into concrete and effective areas of application. With regards to the environment, Copernicus detects the content of aerosols that destroys the ozone layer, analysing atmospheric composition and biodiversity. It is regularly evaluating the melting of the polar ice cap in the Arctic as a result of temperature increases due to global warming. It determines the quality of air and water that affects our health. It monitors ocean levels, coastal areas, and forests in order to limit the damage from the threat of earthquakes, floods, and fires to ensure our safety. In the energy sector, Copernicus promotes the use of hydraulic and wind power plants, promising clean, eco-friendly alternatives to fossil fuels. This will allow for renewable energy to account for up to 27% of our total energy consumption by 2030. Copernicus also supports the monitoring of the external borders of the European Union, using space data merged with other sources of information to increase situational awareness and improve assessment of risk at the external borders. Serving the marine world, Copernicus tracks marine pollution affecting aquatic ecosystems and the fishing industry. As part of a development cooperation policy, Copernicus warns of early signs of deforestation and desertification in order to avoid the problems of loss of biodiversity and food shortages. It oversees the irrigation of fields and monitors crops for better food management. It is also instrumental in tracing outbreaks of diseases, such as Ebola in West Africa. Further to these examples, Copernicus can serve the tourism industry, urban development, archaeology, oil and gas, and the insurance sector. It is an incredible tool, efficient, constantly evolving, open to all, and free of charge. And this will always be the case. It is a tool to create new applications, new opportunities, new markets, new jobs. Independent studies indicate that by 2030, nearly 48,000 jobs could be created by the application of Copernicus. And why not? Tens of thousands of users already make use of the data which is freely available. Knowing that each euro invested in satellite technology represents a high return on investment, the number of business opportunities is likely to increase in the coming years. New horizons are coming ever closer to us, here on Earth and in space.
Türkiye şu sıralar kendi uzay ajansını kurma çalışmalarını sürdürüyor ve bazı programların yürütülmesi konusunda Uluslararası Uzay Ajansı ile işbirliği halinde. Günümüzde uydular günlük hayatın işleyişinde hayati derecede önemli rol oynuyor. İletişim, hava durumu, güvenlik ve eğlence. Neredeyse her şey için onları kullanıyoruz. Hava ve deniz trafiği alanında ise EGNOS ismi verilen ve Avrupa çapında işlerliği olan ilk uydu navigasyon sistemi geliştirildi. Yerküremize göre belli bir konumda sabitlenen 3 uydu ve yer istasyonlarından oluşan geniş bir ağ sayesinde uçakların seyri ya da gemilerin dar kanallardan geçişi hayati tehlike arz eden faaliyetlerin sağlıklı bir biçimde gerçekleştirilebilmesi için oldukça önemli veriler elde ediliyor.
Satellite navigation has become an integral part of our lives today. An area where satellite navigation plays a major role is air traffic control. For this safety-critical domain, the European Space Agency, ESA, the European Commission and Eurocontrol, the European Organization for the Safety of Air Navigation, developed EGNOS, which has been in use since 2011 and augments the existing GPS system. This increases the accuracy and the integrity of the position computed by the user. Nowadays, it has become an extremely reliable tool for pilots, helping them cope with whatever flying conditions they're faced with.
Now with the new EGNOS system, which is much more accurate than the normal GPS system, and we're able to get closer to the ground and be able to fly in weather that is with lower clouds or low visibility than we are used to.
Here in Denmark, bad weather or limited visibility is something that these air ambulances or rescue helicopters are confronted with all too often. Before EGNOS, up to 10% of the missions had to be cancelled due to poor weather conditions, a tragedy for patients whose safe and timely arrival at a hospital was often a matter of life or death. Now, with EGNOS, 3 geostationary satellites and a ground segment are working together to send an integrity signal to receivers in aircraft and helicopters. This increases the accuracy of the satellite navigation data to 1.5 meters, guaranteeing its quality and improving vertical positioning.
We need that accuracy because of the terrain. We're getting very close to the to the mountains, and that's why we need a very accurate satellite system, and also not only an accurate but also a reliable.
Today, the number of aircraft or helicopters using EGNOS is slowly rising. For instance, the Swiss Air Rescue Service, who fly over 11,000 missions a year, equipped their helicopters with the new technology, anticipating a nationwide adaptation of EGNOS. EGNOS is also relevant for civil aviation, as it can replace the traditional ground guidance systems needed for aircraft to land, providing a saving in the costs of local airport infrastructure. At Eurocontrol, experts are convinced EGNOS offers many benefits for aviation in Europe.
EGNOS can provide a more efficient service than we had in the past, including improving access to certain airports in adverse weather conditions. So better punctuality, fewer delays, less diversions to alternative airports.
More and more airports in Europe are now certified for landing approaches based on EGNOS. And what is happening in air traffic management will surely be extended in many other applications that need to rely on guaranteed satellite navigation signals. EGNOS will soon augment both GPS and Galileo navigation data. Relying on two constellations will further improve its performances and reliability.
En büyük yapay uydu Uluslararası Uzay İstasyonu'dur. Bu istasyon 15 adet basınçlı modülden oluşturulmuştur. Bilimsel araştırmalar yapmak ve yer küreyi gözlemlemek amacıyla inşa edilmiştir. Yerden 400 kilometre yukarıdadır ve dünya etrafında bir tam dönüşünü sadece 90 dakika içinde tamamlar. Bunun anlamı şudur: İstasyonda çalışan, yani orada yaşayan astronotlar her gün 16 gün doğumu ve 16 gün batımı izlerler. Şimdi sizleri bugüne dek uzayda inşa edilmiş en büyük yapıyı ziyaret etmek üzere kısa bir uzay yürüyüşüne davet ediyoruz.
Humans started to venture into space and saw our planet like never before. Space exploration opened our eyes to a new perspective. The International Space Station is the biggest structure ever built in space. It's permanently inhabited, with 6 people currently calling it home. It circles the Earth at 28,000 kilometers per hour, 400 kilometers above your heads. The size of a football field, this orbiting outpost is a shining example of global cooperation uniting Europe, the USA, Russia, Japan and Canada in space since 1998. Now let's fly a bit closer. On the left we have the Columbus Laboratory, Europe's major contribution to space science research. Then we come across Harmony, a connecting module where visiting spacecraft can dock. Next to it, there is Kibo, Japan's laboratory in space with a large external platform for experiments. Moving along the backbone of the station, or what we call the truss, is the Canadian robotic arm. This 17-meter robot has been instrumental in the building of the station. It can handle large payloads, move astronauts around, and even capture visiting vehicles. Flying down, we see a few American modules. The largest one is the research lab Destiny. And next to it are the connecting modules Unity and Tranquility. Facing down, it's Leonardo, a multi-purpose module. You can also see a 7-porthole dome called Cupola. From there, astronauts guide operations outside the station and take stunning pictures of our planet. we can have a look at a Soyuz spacecraft docked. This vehicle is currently the only means for up to 3 astronauts to reach and leave the station. It serves as a lifeboat in case the crew have to return to Earth. The Soyuz has been used for human spaceflight missions since 1967, longer than any other spacecraft. Time to have a tour inside the station. Let's move to the joint airlock, the main gate for spacewalks. Passing through the hatch, we'll get into a pressurized module called Quest, where astronauts get ready to leave the station or get back to it. The station is a labyrinth. It's not easy to orient yourself in weightlessness. There is no up or down in space. Here we are in Destiny, the American research laboratory. It supports a wide range of experiments and scientific studies. We now move through the connecting module Harmony towards Columbus. Let's get in and have a look. Europe's state-of-the-art facility has room for 10 racks, squeezing the maximum amount of research from the available space. Each rack is devoted to different scientific areas. Experiments are performed in biology, human physiology, radiation, material science, and fluid physics. European scientists have remote access to this very special orbiting facility and are producing scientific results for our benefit back on Earth. Just opposite Columbus, we find Kibo, the Japanese laboratory. From here, we can see its hatch at the end, used to transfer experiment facilities to outer space. Next to the airlock, there is a robotic workstation. The crew can prepare the hardware and experiments and put them in the airlock like an ESA astronaut is doing here. After the inner hatch is closed, the robotic arm on the outside can collect the payload and place it onto the external platform. Everything floats inside the station. Astronauts and any objects aboard are all orbiting the Earth in a free-fall state. That makes a lot of tasks easier, but it has its downsides as well. Astronauts need to stay fit in space. They have to exercise every day to counteract the adverse effects of microgravity. Bones, heart, lungs, and muscles all lose mass and tone in weightlessness. All these changes are tracked and monitored by storing samples of blood, urine, or saliva in a -80 degrees freezer. In microgravity, they can play with objects like this gyroscope and learn about complex physical laws. A number of activities educate and inspire students all over the world. They can program their own space droids that hover around using their own propulsion and navigation. Or they can learn about how surface tension on water works in space. The crew exercises on a very particular treadmill. They need to be attached to it to not fly away when running. Astronauts must keep a tight training schedule of 2 hours a day. But how do astronauts see Earth from up there? Let's have a look. Hovering through the connecting modules Unity and Tranquility, we arrive at the cupola. This 7-window dome is the crew's vantage point to Earth. It offers a unique view for observing our living planet, complementing the data generated by satellites. Here we can see a volcano in New Zealand, chains of mountains in Argentina, and the Grand Canyon. From the cupola, they can assist their crewmates during extravehicular activities, the technical term for spacewalks. Astronauts need to put a spacesuit on before venturing outside. A spacesuit is a small spacecraft in itself. It provides astronauts with oxygen to breathe and protects them from harmful radiation and the extreme temperatures outside. Astronauts do spacewalks to add new modules, install experiments, and carry out repairs. Spacewalks are also a unique opportunity to see the Earth as never before, in all its beauty and fragility. Without spacewalks, life would not be possible on the orbital outpost. The bay windows of the cupola offer the best panoramic view of our world. These windows are protected by external shutters, which are closed when not in use to protect the glass from micrometeoroids and orbital debris. From the inside, the views of Earth and the space station often help astronauts monitor and control approaching spacecraft. Even for astronauts, it's easy to lose orientation when moving around through the modules of the ISS. Signs on the walls help us on our way back through the nodes Tranquility and Unity. We'll now visit the Russian side of the International Space Station. On the way, we find an astronaut having a drink while working. We'll now fly through Zarya, primarily used for cargo storage and as a docking port, but also as a bathroom. Space bathrooms are rather different from the ones you have on Earth. There is no shower on board, so astronauts have to take sponge baths and use wet wipes and non-rinse shampoo. No wonder the first thing most astronauts want to do when they land on Earth is take a shower. We're approaching Zvezda, the main core module of the Russian segment. This module serves as living quarters and the main canteen. Here is where astronauts gather for their meals. They have a fancy table with lots of compartments for food and cutlery. Food is usually eaten directly from cans or flexible bags. From time to time, the crew get to taste fresh fruit. As you can see, astronauts have a busy schedule and might have to work over lunch. They're in constant contact with control centers on Earth. The space station's menu repeats every 8 days and includes hundreds of types of foods and beverages. Getting enough energy, vitamins and minerals is key to counter the effects of microgravity on their bodies. Zvezda also houses the computers that control the orbital position of the whole space station. We will now leave through Zarya. Life in space also means living with a distinct lack of space, and keeping everything in place requires a lot of planning and crew time. There are storage places everywhere, behind every wall and in every corner. Going back towards the American and European modules, we need to fly through a special mating adapter that provides a connection between the different designs of the docking ports. Eventually, we're back in Unity. And this is Destiny again, the American lab. We'll leave now and go back into space.
Yaptığımız bu seyahatte bize eşlik ettiğiniz için teşekkür ederiz. Bir sonraki bölümde Avrupa Birliği'nin bugünü ve geleceği hakkında daha fazla konu başlığıyla yine sizlerle birlikte olacağız.